Hi, this is Algebra 1's Module 3, Lesson 7, to function or not to function. So here's your review to decide how functions work and if they are or not. Identify the two variables for each situation and determine which is independent. So that would be your x value. So which one's your x and which is your dependent, your y. Then determine if the relationship is a function and justify your reasoning. So a person's name versus their social security number. We got to figure out which is the X and the Y in this case. And I don't like the way they use the word versus. So I'm going to actually change that and say in respect. So in respect of their social security numbers. So when I write it this way, it helps me kind of think of it in terms of what do I need to have first? Well, if it's in respect of their social security number, then X would equal that social security number, and Y would equal their name. All right, so now when I'm trying to solve this, I need to think in terms of a table. So if I have a table, I would have the social security number on one side, and then I would have the name on the other side, right? And so then down here, social security number, let's just say it's 4. Then a name that would go with that would be John Smith. And if I come down and do another one, let's say this social security number is 5, and this guy's name is John Smith also. Do I have two numbers that are associated with this, two names that are associated with this number? No, I don't. Each number has one name. Now they can be the same name, but each number has their own name. So that would make this, our answer is in green. So this would be a function because each number has only one name. That's the criteria, right? Each x has to have only one y, has only one name. All right. What if we switched it around and said the person's social security number versus or in respect of their name? Okay, so now we're saying x equals the name, y equals the social security number. Now when we do our table, we have the name first and then the social security number. So if I have John Smith as my name here and his number is 4, and if I have another John Smith out there, because Smith's a pretty common name and John is too, and his social security number is 5, now I have two John Smiths, both with different numbers. So that would make this one, so go to click for me, there we go, not a function. We could have two numbers for the same name. All right, cost of gas versus or in respect to the amount of gas pumped. Well, again, let's figure out our x's and y's. So if it's the gas versus the amount pumped, what do you need to know first? What's the independent? Well, you can pump any amount of gas. So your gas pumped is your independent because you don't know what it's going to cost until you actually pump the gas. And so again, think of your thing. If I pump 30 gallons of gas, is there going to be one set price or could I have two different options? Probably one set price because at that point in time, there's only one option for your gas, amount of gas. So this would be a function. All right, next one. Looking down here at 4. Okay, so x values. Let's start by listing our x values. So x equals, I'm going to do these in our brackets. So we have a 3, a 4, and an 8. And y's, we have a 6, 10, and a 12. So for each of my x's, 3, does 3 only show up here once with one value? It does. 4 does as well. 8 does as well. That would make this a function. Each x only has one y value. All right, 5, the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit with respect to the time of day. So if I have to know what time it is before I can figure out the temperature, right? So if it's 3 a.m., am I going to have two different options for a temperature? Well, I suppose different people could have different things on their thermometer, but your thermometer is only going to give one temperature. So this would be a function. All right, you're traveling. You go distance of 6 in 2 days, distance of 10 in 4 days, 6 in 5 days, 9 in 8 days. So which one of these is our x? Which is our y? Always put x first. So this would be your x. That means this is the y. So in looking at that, if I have an x of 6, do I only have one set of days that I can do that in? No, I have 2 6s and I have 2 different numbers for it. So this would not function. And I'm going to go ahead and circle this and this to show that my 6 could equal 2 or 5. Therefore, it is no longer a function. Okay, the area of a circle as it relates to its radius. Okay, well, I have to know my radius before I can figure out my area. So x is my radius, y is my area. If I have a radius of 3, do I only get one area? If I have a radius of 4.8, do I only get one area? Yes, I do. So this is a function. Change that to blue so we're keeping consistent. All right, 8. So in looking here, we've got our x's are always on the left. So these are my x's. That means y's are on my right. All right. If I have a 3 over here, is there only one answer for 3? Yep. 5, there's only one answer for 5. There's only one answer for 7. It's okay that 3 and 5 both have 5 as a y. As long as 3 does not have 5 and something else as a y, we're okay. So this is a function. All right, the volume of water in a given cylinder is dependent on the height of the water in the cylinder. Well, that was nice. They really spelled that one out for us. So it's dependent on the height. So that makes x our independent, and y is our volume, which is our dependent, because we have to know the height to be able to figure out the volume. If I have a height of 4 in a particular cylinder, is there only one volume for an answer? Yep. Same thing, height of 22, 1. So we are, again, 1 for each. All right, only a couple more. The size of the radius of a circle is dependent on the area. Okay, so this time they're telling us if it's dependent on the area, then x has to equal the area and y has to equal the radius because of how they worded it. So if I have an area of 36, can I solve for a radius? You can. Now, when you do a square root, you could technically end up with two numbers, but does that make sense when you're doing a circle that you could have a negative radius? It does not. So in this case, this would be a function just because of the fact our domain would have to be positive numbers on here. All right, student letter, and so does our range. Both range and domain would have to be positive numbers. Okay, student's letter grade is dependent on the percent earned. Okay, so our X is our percent, and the grade is what we dependent. So if I get an 81%, is there only one letter I can get for an 81%? Yes, that would be a B, right? If there's a 72%, is there only one letter I can get for that? Yeah, a C. So that would be a function. Right, 12, the length of fence needed with respect to the amount of rectangular area to be enclosed. All right, so we need to have, it's with respect to the amount of area. So X is our area and Y would be our length. So if we know what our area is, we can figure out what our length is that we need for this. Can I have more than one? Oh, changed it too early. Can I have more than one length? No, more than one area that gets the same different lengths. So let's think about this. If we have an area of 36, what can I have as my lengths of my rectangular fence? Well, I could have a 6 by 6 fence, right? Because I could have a square, but I could also have an 8 by or 9 by 4, right? So you really have multiple options for an X area of 36. So this would not be a function. Because those areas, the factors of those areas could be different. All right, 13, the explicit formula for the recursive situation below. F of 1 equals 3, and f of n plus 1 equals f of n plus 4. So if I am doing I need to take my current number to find the next one. I want to take my current number plus 4. And then I'm going to take my next one plus 4. And I'm going to take my next one plus 4. So do I only have one option for the explicit formula for this? I do. That makes this, oh, I didn't put my variables. So my X would be in, and my Y would be the function of f of n plus 1 equals f of n plus 4. Okay, so that would be my independent and my dependent. If I plug in a number for X, if I put in a 2, then I would have to have whatever the answer is to 2 plus 4, and I would only get one answer. So this would be a function because one input gets me one output. 14. If X is a rational number, then f of X equals 1. If X is an irrational number, then f of X equals 0. So my X values would be rational numbers, actually any number, right? Any number. But my Y's are either going to be 0 or 1, right? Those are my only two options as far as my answers. So if I have a number of 3, the answer is 1. If I have an answer of 2, square root of 2, my answer is 0. Could I get any other answer for a square root of 2? No, I can't. I can't get any other answer for a square root of 3 either. I have to have 0. Positive number, whole numbers, 3, 5, 7, they all have an answer of 1, but 3 only has one answer. So, all right. Last one, national debt with respect to time. Ugh, it's an ugly one to think about. So my x in this case, respect to time. So time would be my dependent. Y would be our international debt, or national debt. So if you pick a point in time, yesterday, do we have one number for our debt? Yes. If I pick our debt 10 years ago, on this date 10 years ago, is there one answer for your thing? Yes. You don't have different amounts of debt in one day. So this would be a function. Great. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.